Okay, I just want you to know there's a giant fucking bee behind you, but workplace occupational hazard. What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, back with another video. You like my new whip?
I love it.
It's in fact not my car, but I just wanted to point it out. Here today to talk about the dumbbell row, how it's different from a lot of movements and how a lot of individuals get it wrong. You see, there's essentially two camps when it comes to the dumbbell row. The one camp would be the shut up and lifters, which use excess momentum, so it looks like they're damn near humping the weight, where they're jerking their body like they have a seizure when they initiate the movement, and that's not optimal. On the other hand, I would say those that execute with very strict form, they want to have proper techniques, so they don't want to have a lot of body English. As such, they focus on just feeling that contraction on the lat. And in theory, that sounds like the right approach, but I'm going to explain in this video today why for optimal hypertrophy of the back, you shouldn't actually keep a super strict form on the dumbbell row, and it actually has to do with your lats. You see, unlike a lot of other movements where you could tweak the form, think the bench press, the lat acts as a shoulder extensor, which means it brings the arm down like so. Cool. So when you're rowing with a dumbbell, think elbows back towards hip. And that makes sense. But the problem is that your lat is in fact very strong as a shoulder extension when it comes to shoulder extension torque at the start of the movement and very weak at the peak contraction. So you bring the dumbbell all the way up and you try and contract. And this, I said before, is disproportionately so, where if you initiate the movement, you probably have 100 pounds of strength. Towards the top range of motion, you're left with 40 pounds. And if you keep form super strict, what ends up happening is you don't use enough weight to stimulate hypertrophy. Sure, you might target your lats a little bit, but the rest of your back musculature gets neglected. And so it becomes a fine balance between technique and using optimal weight. Think on the bench press, the use of body English when it comes to the dumbbell row is similar to the bench press, where you'll focus on getting an arch, right? So you shorten the range of motion a little bit, you get leg drive, so you bring your legs back, you get the shoulders externally rotated, shoulder blades retracted. We're doing all these cues to optimize the lift, to lift the most amount of weight and also use the most amount of musculature. In the same way with the dumbbell row, starting with a little bit of momentum, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean, where I think most of us, if we see this video, we can agree that, you know what, that's just a little bit of momentum, can really help you get that peak contraction without using lighter weight. And again, it's a balance. And for a lot of movements, for the vast majority, I would recommend strict technique. But due to the shoulder extension torque that the lat can generate, especially at the top where it's unable to do so, so it's at an unfair advantage. Kind of like, think to yourself, in the same way when you do a tricep kickback where you're just standing and you kick it back like so, why it's not optimal. So for the dumbbell row, it's the middle ground between the two, not using excessive momentum, because too much and you're not even using lats to row it up, you're just swinging that weight up. A little bit of momentum can offset the role of the lats and in fact use more of that back musculature. Now, with that being said, I think you should do that for the vast majority of your rows, but there comes a time and place when you want to target your lats a little bit more, which is why holding that peak contraction would be a good idea, especially at that top. So if you do a seated row, pronated, neutral, it doesn't really matter. When you do that row, you want to squeeze the lats at that bottom end range right here and hold it for a second, but that should be your tertiary movement, so your third movement, your fourth movement. You shouldn't begin like that. In fact, you should always try and focus on lifting with good technique the most amount of weight. So in the debate when it comes to the dumbbell row, it is unique. Unlike the deadlift, you wouldn't herk and jerk it, you're going to throw out your back. For the dumbbell row, it is a little different, and optimizing each movement when it comes to the physics, when it comes to the mechanics, when it comes to your own individual body is very important. So for the dumbbell row, don't think that I'm saying for everyone out there to use excess momentum and hump the damn weight. What I'm saying is to initiate the pull with a little bit of momentum, and what I like to think the cue in my head is almost like you're turning on a lawnmower, you're revving an engine where you're rotating slightly and you're exploding from the bottom position, and then at the top, you're still trying to squeeze the lat in that position. And you'll notice the further you bring your elbow back, the harder it becomes, because once again, that shoulder extension, the roll of the lat, bringing it back like so, it becomes weaker and weaker. So you want to make sure that you start strong, hold and squeeze at the top, just feel the lat and let it come back down. In that way, I think you get the best of both worlds, in addition to doing as your third, fourth, or fifth movement, a lat focused row where you hold at that peak contraction just for a second in order to make sure that you're maximizing lat growth in addition to the rest of your back musculature. Anyways, I got to get out of here. thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the damn video, make sure to like the damn video, and I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.